When it comes to holiday gifting, I want to give things people really love. Beautiful, timeless pieces they'll wear for years. That's why I'm going with Quince. From Mongolian cashmere sweaters to Italian wool coats, everything is premium quality at a price that actually makes sense. Quince has something for everyone. Those soft Mongolian cashmere sweaters, those are $50. And they look and feel like designer pieces. No one would ever know you paid $50. I have so many clothes from Quince at this point. I have a cashmere sweater. It feels so soft, structured, and it doesn't pill. That's so important. Find gifts so good you'll want to keep them with Quince. Go to quince.com/ratchet for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/ratchet to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/ratchet. Here's my holiday pattern, right? I tell myself I'm going to be thoughtful, and then I mean to be, but then I procrastinate, and then I panic at the last minute, and I end up buying a gift card. This year, I skipped the panic and gave an Aura frame. Aura frames are the world's smartest digital picture frame. They're an easy and beautiful solution to instantly frame photos from your phone. I have over 100,000 pictures on my phone. I can give an Aura frame to everyone on my gift list and upload like 300 photos and no one would have the same photo. What I love about Aura frames, you can upload unlimited free photos and video. Just download the Aura app and connect to Wi-Fi. And you can personalize your gift. You can add a little message before it arrives. I love that. I love it. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code RATCHET at checkout. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code RATCHET. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. What do you want? Not family, not friends, not society at large, you. What do you want and how do you want it? Without the noise of external opinions, you may have the space to find out. On the dating app field, curiosity leads the way towards intimacy with others and yourself. If life on field interests you, here's a closer look at exactly what happens there. Now, I love Field because it doesn't gatekeep connection. In an age where dating apps create hurdles to finding your people, Field is built differently. My favorite part, there's no fast swipe culture. Sometimes attraction takes time. Here, you don't have to make a split decision in order to see another person. Skip profiles, go back, and take the time you need to decide if you really like someone. Are you ready to give Field a try? That's FEELD. Download Field on the App Store or Google Play. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. All my Season World travelers have gone back to their forever homes. They've returned to the United States. Davida and the Season World crew have returned to Ghana, and myself, am here in Cape Town. I am not alone per se. I have friends that live here. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about me traveling all the time, especially in places that I live, are people are like, oh my God, she'll just up and move someplace and like she doesn't know anyone. That's not exactly true. Every place that I've actually lived in the past couple years, Ghana, Johannesburg, Cape Town, London, Paris, I've known people in the city. They may not be besties, they may be friends of friends, or it just may be like fellow expat Black girls that I met in the city, but I've always known like a small group of people. I'm not completely insane. Cape Town is very lovely. I've been working out every day. I've been walking the prom. It's technically 70 with a breeze, but it feels like 80. If I was not here recording the podcast with you, I would be at the beach right now. Part of the reason I'm recording the podcast today is because tomorrow is actually the hot day and I will be at the beach. I will not be sitting here editing. I looked at the weather back home earlier today, like my home in North. It's 17 degrees. I mean, now mind you, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, but still, I was like, I mean, I have radiators, which means like my apartment theoretically should feel like project heat. I probably should need to crack a window, but like, my God, 17. And I was like, in Fahrenheit, this is what I'm returning to. If it wasn't for Penny, who, by the way, Penny got her bedroom closets while I was gone, and then she's getting her floors this week. That's the end of like the major construction, and I can move my stuff in. I was looking at the nominations for the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice Awards, and I was like, in a perfect world, like maybe I could have like a watch party at my house. Maybe. If you notice, I keep talking about like wanting to do stuff in my house, it's because I miss entertaining really, really, really bad. Folks used to be in my living room, like sitting on top of each other with the TV on death, just yelling over each other. I can't wait to move into this house. My God. I just want to be in there. I don't care if there's furniture in there or not. I just want to be in the house. And apparently nobody else cares if there's furniture either. I know what y'all not gonna do though. Y'all not gonna wear shoes on my new floors though. Them floors are expensive. They would. I gotta replace some wood and I gotta stain all the wood so it's like a consistent color. Was this a good idea? It better be. I guess it's a little late to be asking now. We have lots of good Black news this week. Oh, by the way, the Blacks, I saw all the Blacks down in Miami for Art Basel. I love that event. I haven't been in years. I think the last time was probably before COVID, before I moved to LA. So yeah, even before I moved to Ghana in 2022, I was often in Ghana for December. I don't remember the last time I went to Basel. Damn. It's one of my favorite events, Art Basel and ABFF. I also just, in general, like Miami, although I prefer to stay in Brickell. I mean, technically that's Miami, but it's not Miami Beach. That's not the point. None of this is the point. The point is, y'all didn't do enough variety for me, at least the stuff that I saw, because everyone kept posting the picture. It was like a sundial that looked like a bookshelf, and everybody kept taking pictures of it until some ignorant Negro, and I use Negro very loosely, because there's a better word for what he should be called. It was like a bookshelf that looked like a sundial in the middle of a fountain or something, or like a body of water. And some Negro hopped himself into the body of water to either be filmed, take a picture, TikTok or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, there was like security everywhere, so nobody could get good pictures of the sundial anymore. Niggas. Look. Art Basel, is it still a classy event or did like, I know classy people that went. And also some of the events that have been, what's the word? It's not gentrified, niggified. You know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. There's still pockets of classiness that like niggas ain't got access to. And look, I don't mean Black people. I'm fine with Black people from all walks of life. I mean like niggas, like the dude who hopped in the fountain, him. Like that kind of behavior, like that hasn't overrun Art Basel, right? Please tell me no. I want to go to Art Basel in Basel one year. Need to get my funds right. Switzerland's expensive. None of this is the point. None of this is the point. The point is we have lots of good Black news this week. I think oh no, we got to talk about Diddy again. Otherwise, we'd have all good Black news. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is now running for U.S. Senate. She filed her paperwork on Monday and then made an announcement. So I was reading on CBS earlier today. Jasmine is so Jasmine, which I love about her. She said, quote, "I'm done with going along to get along." I don't ever recall her doing that, but okay. "But I'm done with going along to get along, and it gets us nowhere." She continues, "I'm done watching rural hospitals and public schools close their doors. I'm done watching parents be afraid to send their kids to school or the mall or the movies because Republicans have flooded our streets with guns. I'm done with the senators sitting around doing nothing while Trump takes your hard-earned money, skims your Social Security, slashes Medicare, and gives tax breaks to billionaires. I'm done. I'm done watching the American dream on life support while Trump tries to pull the plug. The gloves have been off, and now I'm jumping into the ring. I'm asking for your support to be the next United States Senator from the great state of Texas." Now, for obvious reasons, I'm happy for Jasmine. Senate is leveling up from House of Representatives. There have only been like a handful of Black women who are senators. I think I would be accurate to say you can count like all of them combined, like in all the history of the Senate, maybe on one hand. This is from the Pew Research Center. As of 2025, for the first time ever, there are two Black women serving concurrently in the Senate. Usually it's just one, like Kamala Harris was sitting up there by herself. That's crazy. Angela also Brooks, that's my senator from Maryland, and then Lisa Blunt Rochester from Delaware. Those are the two that are serving right now. So hopefully they can add Jasmine to that number. I have no idea what her prospect of winning is. Obviously, she thinks she can win. Otherwise, she wouldn't be running. I know nothing except the very surface level about Texas politics. And by surface, I mean, I know the congressional districts were gerrymandered. There was going back and forth in court for a while. The courts upheld the new maps on Thursday. And if I remember correctly, Jasmine's seat would have been eliminated essentially by the new map. And so I think that may be part of why she's running for Senate, because she wants to stay in politics, but like her district has been like chopped up so bad that she may not have been able to run a successful campaign. So she's stepping up. She's going after the Senate. I wish her the best. She knows what she's getting into. She's run for office before. Obviously, this is like larger terrain. I was reading her strategy earlier today. She was like, I'm fully aware of how Texas operates. She was like, I'm not trying to sway any Republicans, MAGA folks, whoever on that side to come vote for me. She was like, I'm trying to activate voters who usually don't turn out. So, like, to bring more people into the electorate. I wish I had more insight into Texas politics. I can tell you about Maryland. I can tell you a little bit about DC. I still know New York pretty well because I lived there forever and a day. But Texas, I have no clues. So I'm not trying to get on this podcast and lie. And other good Black news, the nominations are out for the Golden Globes. Sinners was nominated for seven awards. Also, Critics' Choice Award, they were nominated for 7 awards. It's America. And it's worse than usual in America. And I didn't know if they were going to be nominated. I didn't know if Michael B. Jordan, who I think did fabulous in the film, Ryan Coogler is director. I didn't know if the right people were going to be recognized. It seems that the Golden Globes got it right, at least for Sinners. They got a lot right. Let's go through this list of Golden Globes. Let's see our Sinners Black people and anybody else who I recognize as Black. I think I did a list one year for the Oscars. Like I had gone through the list and was like, oh, nobody Black. And then two Black people whose names I didn't recognize won Oscars. I felt so bad. So let's just say maybe not nobody Black, but we'll go through the categories and we'll talk about people whose names I recognize who are Black. Very specific. Ryan Coogler got a nod for Best Director in the Motion Picture category. Good for him. Obviously, we're rooting for Ryan Coogler. Best TV Drama. All of these shows have been recommended to me at some point or another, and I just haven't watched them. The Diplomat, I actually did watch season 3 and was like, huh? Because I need to go back and watch season 1 and season 2 to understand what happened. Season 1, I kind of remember. Season 2, like, I just blanked it out. Was it a really long time between season 2 and season 3? I don't know. The Pit, still haven't watched it. Pluribus. Somebody mentioned that to me the other day, literally yesterday. And I was like, I've never heard of this before. Like, I'll watch the pilot. Severance, I tried. So many people recommended that I watch Severance and it racks up so many awards. I was like, well, let me see, because all these people are watching. There must be something to it. I couldn't, y'all. I tried like 3 times. I think I got to episode 3 and I was like, no, I tried. Slow Horses, never heard of it. The White Lotus, everybody and their mom is watching that. Maybe on the plane home, it's like 15 hours. I'll download a season and try to watch it. Let's see, Best TV, Musical or Comedy, Abbott Elementary. I'm rooting for Cousin Quinta. The Bear. Who's the Black girl from The Bear who racked up last award season? Ayo Edeberry. Look, nothing personal. I'm going to have to go with Quinta on this one. I actually watched Quinta's show, although I hear The Bear is very good. That's another one. I tried. I tried. Hacks also tried. Couldn't. Nobody wants this. Never heard of it. Only Murders in the Building. What is that one? Is that the one with Uzu? No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't know these people. I mean, I know Steve Martin. I know Selena Gomez. I know Martin Short. But mm-mm. 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 I guess it's good. It's been nominated. I ain't heard black people talking about it. And then The Studio. I've never heard of The Studio. Who's in The Studio? Let's look this up. Mm-mm. Oh, Zoe Kravitz is in it. Oh, it's Martin Scorsese. Still, mm-mm. I'll watch anything for the pilot. I'm not familiar with it. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture drama. Our girl Tessa Thompson. I love me some Tessa. She was nominated for Hedda. Am I living in an alternate universe? Why have I never heard of any of this stuff? Oh, this actually looks good. Tessa Thompson in the title role as a manipulative military brat turned stifled housewife. It's Hedda Gabler meets Eyes Wide Shut. Okay, yeah, I'll give that a try, just off Tessa. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture drama. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, for The Smashing Machine. This is his, I don't know if it's his first dramatic role, but he's not doing his usual like blow shit up or his like weird surly comedy with Kevin Hart. He actually transformed for this role. So I haven't had a chance to watch the movie yet, but I'm interested. Unfortunately, he is up against Michael B. Jordan, which I feel about Michael B. Jordan about the same way that I feel about Usher. Michael B. Jordan is nominated for Best Performance by a Male Actor for his role in Sinners. You know I'm going with that. It just, you knew. I didn't have to say it, and you knew. Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, the first Wicked. She's the only Black person in that category. Oh, I put a note here. Wicked was not nominated in the Best Film category, which many people noted was a snub. Oh, pause, 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 pause. Speaking of snubs, Best TV Drama. Where's The Gilded Age? The Gilded Age didn't get any nominations? Like, not nary one. There's no Gilded Age nomination on this whole list. Oh my God. The last season was epic. The Peggy was epic. She did get a Critics' Choice nomination, but like, nothing else for The Gilded Age? How? Best Director, Ryan Coogler for Sinners. I think we mentioned that earlier. Best Screenplay, Motion Picture, Ryan Coogler. Best Original Score, Sinners. Best Original Song, I Lied to You, Sinners. Raphael Sadiq and Ludwig Göransson. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. And also, they're both nominated for Best Lyrics as well for Sinners. Also here, Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture. Teyana Taylor, One Battle After Another. I have not seen it. I heard about it. Let me say this. This is messy. I'm going to say it anyway. I'm not going to say that leaving that husband was the best thing she ever did because she got 2 kids. Those are probably the best things she ever did. Okay. When people are in a relationship and the relationship falls apart, and then after those people have parted ways, one of the people begins to have like a major glow up, and then the other person just be involved in shenanigans and bullshit, it gives you a good idea of the dynamics of that relationship and who was more than likely causing the problems. I don't know these people, Teyana and her ex-husband. I interviewed them once. I had opinions. Teyana didn't particularly care for them and got my Ebony cover story pulled, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I've made peace with it. They cut me the check. That's fine. I just never had a cover story for Ebony. I would have had the Essence one month and then the Ebony the next month. Like my ego wanted like back-to-back covers, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay. This girl, she done left this man, is in this film, getting nominated for a Golden Globe. She's in this Hulu show that like I don't particularly love the show, but her character is not one that I particularly complained about. Even though I didn't care for the show, it is the third most watched debut on Hulu like ever. They just got picked up for a second season. Hopefully everybody's checks are being cut well, generously, and expeditiously. She dating a fine man who seems to be treating her well. He, on the other hand, as of last week, the police is getting called to his house, and this is in the news. This is not me like knowing shit. The police get called to his house. He got something going on. It was two women at the house. One woman, I think, was upset about the other woman being there. He was trying to tell one of the women to leave. She wouldn't leave. So he was trying to physically remove her from the house. She called the police. In fairness to him, the police showed up, assessed the situation, and even they was like, hey, lady, like, you got to go. This ain't your house. The owner of the home is telling you got to go. You got to go. The police did like not charge him with anything. He was not arrested. He was not detained, like any of that. Okay. Still, you got this kind of drama going on. And meanwhile, she over here on hit TV shows and getting nominated for Golden Globe. She had a good career when she was still married. She's having an epic run since she left. I'm just saying. Cinematic and box office achievement. Sinners also has a nomination for that. I wasn't sure what it is, so I went and looked it up. It's an award that recognizes the year's most acclaimed, highest earning, or most viewed films that have garnered extensive global audience support and attained cinematic excellence. To be eligible for nomination, a film must have grossed over 150 million, with at least 100 million grossed in the US. Okay. Look, I'm just excited for Sinners to be nominated for like all the things because that was like a really, 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 really good movie. Like I saw it twice and then I just started watching it over and over and over and over again when it got to HBO. It's a good movie. Although when I rewatch it, I watch it up until old girl gets bit. And then I fast forward to the end and I cry every time when Sammy starts talking about like, until night fell, it was like one of the best days of my life. Like, it gets me every time, every time. Best television limited series. Look, I love me some dramatic white people, some rich dramatic white people in distress. If you throw in like a kidnapping or a murder or like some legal shit, I love it. I need to watch everything on this list. Adolescence, All Her Fault, that was really, really, really good. The Beast in Me with Claire Danes, I started that. I didn't finish it. Black Mirror, I haven't watched this season. Dying for Sex, I never heard of that, but okay. And then The Girlfriend. I'm obviously going to go with All Her Fault just because it was really good, but it's nobody black, so I'm not tied to anything. Although Lawrence was in All Her Fault. What's his name? What's his real name? Lawrence from Issa. Insecure Lawrence. He got a real name. I don't remember what it is. He wasn't like the star of it, though. Let's go with All Her Fault because I liked it, but I won't feel away if anybody else wins. Best performance by a female actress in a television series. How dare they not put Carrie Coon on this list? Carrie Russell for The Diplomat is the only name I wrote down, so I think that's the only show I've seen. Best performance by a male actor in a television series. I think Mr. Russell should be on this list. I think also Danae Brown should be under best performance by a female actress, also for Gilded Age, because Peggy did her thing this season. That was some good TV. They could have put, what's the girl? They could have put Lil Gladys on there too. Lil Gladys did her thing too. Are you unwell? Best performance by a male actor in a television series drama, Sterling K. Brown for Paradise. That man acted his ass off. His whole entire chiseled, his wide back and his high and chiseled ass for that show. He did a really good job. I can't wait for season 2. I saw the trailer the other day. I cannot wait for him and Idris Elba. Hijacked. I cannot wait for season 2 for those shows. Best performance by a female actor in a television series, musical, or comedy. Ayo Edebiri, The Bear. She get nominated for everything. I'm going to just go ahead and guess she wins because she won everything last year. I mean, she racked up everything. Good for her. I root for everybody black. Best performance by a female actor in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. I have Claire Danes for The Beast in Me, and then Rashida Jones in Black Mirror. I had no idea she was in it. I'll go give it a watch just to support Rashida. Best performance by a female actor in a supporting role on television. Carrie Coon, White Lotus. I've never seen an episode. I'll root for her just because I like her on The Gilded Age. I assume she's great on White Lotus too. I'll give her the benefit of doubt. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role on television. Tremel Tillman from Severance, the black dude. There was a clip from the show circulating, and he was like leading a marching band or something. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Why is this black man doing this? And people were like, yo, you gotta watch Severance. That's what made me watch it. But Tremel Tillman was the black dude in the marching band. I'm rooting for him. Best performance in stand-up comedy on television. The only person was Kevin Hart. Apparently, he has a new comedy special, Acting My Age. I will never know. I like Kevin Hart as an actor and his dramatic roles. I'm very specific. Kevin Hart as stand-up does nothing for me. Like, I sit there blank faced the whole time. Like, I don't even chuckle. Best podcast, which was a big thing online. People were like, there's no black podcast that were nominated, like no black podcast. In fairness, one of the podcasts nominated is Up First from NPR. And one of those hosts, Michelle Martin, is in fact black. Now, she's not the only host. She's one of four. I think there's a Latino guy, two white people, and her. But she black. So I'm rooting for her. The Golden Globes takes place January 11th, Sunday, January 11th. So we have some time before this award shows, but congratulations to all of the nominees. I'm very excited about the number of black people nominated and also that Sinners has significant nominations and Sterling K. Brown because Paradise was my show. I was hooked. Like, would stay up all night to watch it like as soon as it came out. Like, that's appointment TV for me. When it comes to holiday gifting, I want to give things people really love. Beautiful, timeless pieces they'll wear for years. That's why I'm going with Quince. From Mongolian cashmere sweaters to Italian wool coats, everything is premium quality at a price that actually makes sense. Quince has something for everyone. Those soft Mongolian cashmere sweaters, those are $50. And they look and feel like designer pieces. No one would ever know you paid $50. Quince also has silk tops and skirts for dressing up, perfectly cut denim for everyday wear, and outerwear that actually keeps you warm. I bought one of those Italian wool coats because I don't have winter clothes and I need to make sure like I'm warm when I get back to the States. Their Italian wool coats are standout pieces, beautifully tailored, soft to the touch, and crafted to last for seasons. I can't wait to unbox mine. Every piece is made with premium materials from ethical, trusted factories and priced far below what other luxury brands charge. The craftsmanship shows in every detail. The stitching, the fit, the drape, it's elevated, timeless, and made to wear on repeat. I have so many clothes from Quince at this point. I have a cashmere sweater. It feels so soft, structured, and it doesn't pill. That's so important. And it's the kind of quality I'd expect for like a $200 sweater, not like a $50 sweater. Find gifts so good you'll want to keep them with Quince. Go to quince.com/ratchet for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/ratchet to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/ratchet. Here's my holiday pattern, right? I tell myself I'm going to be thoughtful, and then I mean to be, but then I procrastinate, and then I panic at the last minute, and I end up buying a gift card. This year, I skipped the panic and gave an Aura frame. Aura frames are the world's smartest digital picture frame. They're an easy and beautiful solution to instantly frame photos from your phone. I have over 100,000 pictures on my phone. I can give an Aura frame to everyone on my gift list and upload like 300 photos and no one would have the same photo. It would feel very, very personalized for every single person. What I love about Aura frames, you can upload unlimited free photos and video. Just download the Aura app and connect to Wi-Fi. You can preload the photos before it ships, So your loved one is not just getting like a frame with no photos. That would be wild. And you can personalize your gift. You can add a little message before it arrives. I love that. I love it. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code RATCHET at checkout. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code RATCHET. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Let's see. We also have the Critics' Choice Awards. I'm not going to read all of those. I just want to make mention of a couple people. I'm going to scroll through the list real quick. As I said before, Sinners, they are leading the Critics' Choice Awards with 17 nominations. I think I read this on actually the Critics' Choice website. And they note here, Sinners collected a nod for Best Picture, and then Michael B. Jordan and Wunmi Masaku and Miles Canton. They're up for Best Supporting Actress and Best Young Actor, Actress, respectively. Ryan Coogler was recognized for Best Director and Best Original Screenplay, and the film itself received nods for Best Casting and Ensemble, Best Cinematography, Best Production Design, Best Editing, Best Costume Design, that'd be Ruth Carter, Best Hair and Makeup, Best Visual Effects, Best Stunt Design, Best Song, Best Score, and Best Sound, who worked on Sinners, because it sounds like they all got nominated. Congratulations to them. Wait, Delroy Lindo didn't get a nod? The blues man. Delroy Lindo, West Indian Archie didn't get a nod here? Wow. I mean, they got 17 nods, and I'm very happy for them, but an 18th is needed. Delroy Lindo acted his ass off in Sinners. If nothing else, like the monologue about being in jail and his friend, and they lynched him. Come on. He deserves something for that. He need to leave here with something. Under film, it seemed, and obviously, like, I don't know all the Black people, but it seemed like everybody Black who was nominated was somehow affiliated with Sinners. And so when I went through the list the first time, I did not recognize any other Black names. That's not to say that there were not Black people who were also on this list. I just did not recognize their names. Sorry to those people. It's not my intent to overlook you. It really is a long ass list. I'm scrolling through it just one more time to see if I catch anybody that I missed the first time. Not to my knowledge. See some Latino cousins, but they're not Black Latino. I don't see any other Black names. Oh no, Paul Tazwell. I feel like that's one of the people I missed at the Oscars. Black. Yep. Okay, that was who I missed at the Oscars. He made history as the first Black man, not first Black person. That'd be Ruth Carter. He made history as the first Black man to win the Oscar for costume design. He is also nominated for a Critics' Choice Award for costume design for Wicked, for Good. I guess that's like the first Wicked, because there have been two Wickeds. I watched the first one on the plane. I like Cynthia's song at the end. I acknowledge that the set design and the costumes were very good, but as far as the story and the acting and all that other stuff, like I'm not a theater kid. I mean, that's not true. I personally am not a theater kid. I like going to the theater. I like musicals. I'm not exactly sure I like musicals and theater turned into TV. Although I did like The Color Purple, which everyone else hated. I told y'all I talked about The Color Purple. Actually, because some of y'all wrote into me. But a really good friend was like, hey, was that like a paid advertisement, or do you like actually believe what you said? She was deeply confused. Oh, let's see. Nope, scrolling through this list, I don't recognize any other Black names. If I have skipped you and you were Black, charge it to my head and not my heart. I just don't know your Black name, and I'm sorry. Best song, I Lied to You. Well, that's from Sinner, so we already mentioned that, but it's Raphael Sadiq and Ludwig Göransson. I hope I ain't butchering that man's name. You know I did. My bad. Yeah, all the other black people are associated with Center somehow. Let's see. We're going to scroll down to the TV part because that was just the film part. The TV part has some more black people. Best drama series. Paradise is on here. That's good. Best actor in a drama series. Sterling K. Brown. So he has a Golden Globe nom and a Critics' Choice nom. Good for him. Best actress in a drama series. Carrie Coon for The Gilded Age. Woo! That makes me excited. And then also Carrie Russell for The Diplomat. I like Carrie Russell in The Diplomat very, very much. But ma'am, Carrie Coon, Mrs. Russell in The Gilded Age, she acted her ass off. She did. Best supporting actor in a drama series. Ato Isando. That sounds Gunyan. Oh, yeah. Okay. Where's this people from? Ghana. I was right. Look at that. He's the American black guy. Not the black guy she trying to hump on. The real fine one, the British one. It's only been so many black people in the show. Wood Harris, Avon Barksdale for Forever. The daddy and Forever. That's why I got to root for it. There's also another black person, Tramel Tillman from Severance. He's also nominated here. I respect you, brother. I love you, brother. Go on and get your Golden Globe. And I feel real bad, Mr. Esando. I feel really bad because you are really good in The Diplomat. But Wood Harris as the daddy in Forever, I gotta go for Avon Barksdale. That's the problem with with having a role which you were just like quote unquote too good at any point in your career. Like the man done been in 50 million movies since then. He was the daddy. He was the manager for New Edition. He was also in Paid in Full. I could not remember the name of that film for anything last episode when I was trying to talk about Alpo. Paid in Full was the movie. We're going to talk about Diddy a little bit in a minute. Unfortunately, I'm so sick of this man. Oh my God, I'm so sick of this man. Because like the reactions to the documentary are almost as good as like the documentary itself. I didn't know that people had not heard of the City College incident. We'll get to that. Best supporting actress in a drama series. Oh, Nicole Beharie for The Morning Show. I have not watched The Morning Show since the first season. I hear it's really, really, really good. Unfortunately, my love, I cannot root for you because also in this category is Danae Benton, i.e. Peggy for The Gilded Age. You know how I feel about Peggy. I love Peggy. I love her. Last season, her love story, they tried to call that man Mister. He said Doctor. And the married man at the train station was trying to go on vacation with Peggy, and he was like, she said no and took the bag back. That was some good TV. And the slow-mo proposal. I watched that so many times. I am not a romantic at heart. I've never been like that. Oh my God, I must like the ring, the proposal, the dress, la, la, la. I got like mildly interested in it after I got engaged, but really kind of, I hated the whole process. Like I outsourced planning, all that stuff. But let me tell you something about Peggy and the Doctor. I watched that with like my toes up in the air, giggling warm and fuzzy inside. Like that whole romance made me tickle pink. And I was like, do I want to take another husband? No, I just really like good TV. It's just a good story, well told. That's all. Okay. Also on this list, I don't know why I feel like this is the black person's name. Let me look. Mm-mm. I don't think this person is black, but I recognize the name. It stands out. Yeah, Sky P. Marshall. Sky with an E. She's on Matlock. She's nominated for Matlock. Where do I know her face from? Because I don't watch Matlock, but I know this woman's face. Who am I confusing her with? She was on This Is Us. Who is Trish Lauren? I'm scrolling back to 2013. I don't know any of her projects, but I know this lady's face. I'm sorry. I'm getting caught up. Best comedy series. Abbott Elementary. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. Nothing black. Best actor in a comedy series. David Allen Greer, St. Denis Medical. Ain't watched near episode of it, but am rooting for David Allen Greer because he was Reverend Lonnie Love on Martin. That's all on Living Color. But Reverend Lonnie Love on Martin is when it sealed the deal for me. That man is out of his goddamn mind. He was also that mean ass husband on I mean he's 50 million things because David Allen Greer. But he was also the mean hub not Greenleaf, the other show. with the black people in Louisiana, with the bad sister Nova and the sister Charlie and Ralph Angel, Queen Sugar. Oh, he played that bad husband so good. Best actress in a comedy series. I don't recognize none of these people. Mm-mm. I'm sorry to these people. Best supporting actor in a comedy series. Mm-mm. I said I wasn't going to do this. I'm sitting here doing it. But I'm glad I am because I missed some names the first time. Best supporting actress in a comedy series. Danielle Brooks. Peacemaker. HBO Max. I've never heard of this. I feel like I watch a lot of TV and I still have not heard of all these shows. Janelle James, Abbott Elementary. Ooh, that's tough. That's the principal. I love me some Danielle Brooks too. Tasty. Janelle James is so good. Ooh, I can't choose. I can't choose. I can't choose. Let God sort it out. I can't choose. And then Ego Nodwin. Nodwin. Oh, she's a comedian on Saturday Night Live. Oh, this chick is funny as hell. Yes. Oh, she's from Baltimore. Ooh, I root for everybody black. And if she wins, I'm not mad. But I really want either Danielle or Janelle to win. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sis. I'm so sorry. 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 Best limited series. All Her Fault is the only one I've watched. Most of this list is the same as Golden Globes. Best movie made for television. Summer of '69, Hulu. That was Questlove's documentary, if I remember that correctly. And no, I'm lying. That's not. Didn't Questlove have something about like the summer, Questlove, Summer of Soul? I'm not entirely making shit up. Let's see. Best actor in a limited series. Brian Tyree Henry, Paperboy. He's in Dope Thief on Apple TV. That's the only black name I recognize. Best actress in a limited series made for or movie made for television. Nobody black. Wait, let me make sure this is not our Michelle Williams. It's the other Michelle Williams. Yes, the other Michelle Williams. Okay. Let's see. Best supporting actor in a limited series. His name looks black. Is it black? Not black. Best supporting actress, limited series or movie made for television. To my knowledge, nobody black. Best foreign language series. Oh, Squid Game is on here. When No One Sees Us on HBO. Nope, not black. I'm getting that confused with Ava's show, which was forever ago. That wouldn't be on the list. Best animated, y'all don't care. Best talk show. Nobody black. Daily Show, Hot Ones, Kimmel, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert. Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. I got an Andy Cohen story. I'm not telling it today, though. Best Variety, SNL, John Oliver, Conan. Best Comedy Special. Nobody black. All right, that's it for the Critics' Choice. When does Critics' Choice air? I think also in January, if I'm correct. January 4th. January 4th is Critics' Choice, and Golden Globes is January 11th. That's a good time to be in LA. You can hear my mind whirling. No, for the parties, not to go to the actual awards. No, I'm not going to LA. I'll be home for 5 weeks. I need to stay on the East Coast and put my house together. And not so good black news. I mean, in me being dramatic way, Bel-Air has come to an end. You know how much I love that show. Bel-Air was a reboot done well. Shout out to Felicia Pride, who worked on the show. And by work, I mean co-executive producer. Did she work on all the seasons? I know she did last season for sure. If you recognize her name, that's also because she is overseeing the reboot of A Different World along with Debbie Allen. Felicia's a really good writer, smart writer. Baltimore, East Coast girl. She's doing really, really good work. I'm so proud of her. But yeah, but Bel-Air has come to an end. They've released all the episodes in a matter of 2 weeks. Like, it was only 8 episodes this season, but like 2 weeks ago, like the debut of it, they released 3 episodes and then 2 more episodes last week and then 3 more episodes yesterday on Monday. Like, I'm happy that I kind of got to like binge it-ish, a light binge, if you will. But I just wondered why they decided to drop them all at once. I don't think they've done that in previous seasons. It just felt like before it took me maybe like a month to watch the whole series, which I'm not complaining. I'm just sort of wondering what the thought process was behind it. I didn't even get a chance to recap it because I was in the middle of the season world trip. And then, like, they were dropping 2 and 3 episodes at a time. It was a really good season. Like, storylines were strong. They went in a different direction than what I expected. I mean, Philip Banks, he cut corners for Will. He cut some other corners on this season. But they cleaned it up and left everybody in good standing at the end. Your favorite upstanding blacks have not suddenly become corrupt. I'm trying not to. Oh no. Oh no. I'm actually going to have to give a spoiler here because I need to talk about it because we're probably not going to talk about it next week because it'll be too far out for me. So the finale, which I boo-hooed. I boo-hooed. Oh my God. They kept it kind of true to the end of the show. Like, the Banks family decides to move. Will and Carlton both go off to college. I can't remember where they went to school in the original version. It's been like 20 years since I watched The Fresh Prince, and it's not a show that I watch on reruns the way that I do some other older shows. I just know this is like some insider-ish. The first season of Bel-Air, which is produced by Will Smith was actually going to play Will's father on the show. He wasn't sure of how the show would be perceived. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was such a beloved show and it was a comedy. It was a risk. It was. And reboots of popular shows don't always do so well. So I think not even I think, I know for sure he got cold feet. So he pulled out of playing Will's father at the last minute and Marlon Wayans stepped in. I want to say like within 72, 48 hours, maybe even less than that. But it was a very last minute pull. And Marlon Wayans, because he's a really good actor, stepped in, did what he needed to do. He's been great throughout the series. But Will Smith was always supposed to be on the show in some capacity. So in the final, I don't know, 2 minutes of the show, Will Smith appears to talk to the new Will. I'm getting teared up just talking about it. And Will is leaving LA to head back east. And oh my God, I feel like it's the pep talk I wish someone had given me when I left New York, when I left DC and moved to LA, when I left LA and moved to Ghana. After I moved to Ghana, like, I got it out my system. But like, those are really big moves for me. And I really just wish someone had grounded me. But he says to Will, essentially, you're gonna be okay. He was like, let me just, give you like a fun fact, a cheat code or whatever. And he says, it turns out really, really well for you. You remember, which of course you do, Will Smith was like a bubblegum rapper. I don't know what his trajectory would have been. His first album did really well. I think the second one was okay, but the album sales were dwindling and his star power was dwindling. He had some tax problems. So he was kind of at a crossroads. And then Quincy Jones gives him this opportunity, like literally like on the spot, like audition for this show that I'm working on called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He does it. But that show changes the trajectory of Will Smith's life. Obviously, he does the show. He goes on to do films. He holds us down with these blockbusters like every summer for like, I don't know, 10 years. He goes on to be like Hollywood A-list. And even with the Chris Rock thing, would have completely derailed a different person's career. Will Smith bounced back from it. I don't think black people were ever really too mad at him, but even with white folks, I mean, Chris Rock also being the ass that he can be helped that situation alone. But like, he's back in like good standing. Okay. Will Smith says to the new Will that it's all going to turn out fun. I can barely get the words out. Oh my God. It's like he's saying it to the character who's moved from Philly. And Will says this. He says, like, I came from Philly and I was scared that I was going to lose I was going to come to LA and I was going to lose the person who I was in Philly. And now I've been in LA and now I'm going back east and I'm afraid I'm going to lose this person that I am. And I want to hope. Oh my God. I'm like about to have like a full like sobbing breakdown right now. I don't know what's going on. I know I cry a lot, but this is like slightly different. It's like Will telling the character he's gonna be okay, but then also Will telling the actor it's all gonna work out for you too. Because if you watch the show for the last 4 seasons, the actor that plays Will, Jabari Banks, he's magnetic and he's adorable. Standing there next to Will Smith, he actually looks, I mean, Will Smith's kids actually really do look like him. He looks like he could be one of Will Smith's kids. Like is he even 25? He's very young. And then Will is now in his 50s, and we met Will when he was about that age. Like, we watched him grow up. He's been through so much. Some of it he brought on himself. In his book, he spends several paragraphs talking about no forced errors, and then fucks around and makes like this gigantic forced error. But he figured it out, and he's okay. But Will Smith, the actual Will Smith, it's like he's talking to the other actor, Jabari Banks, and was like basically telling him that it's the end of the show, but it's the beginning of everything for him. And watching this actor, you could see it plain as day. There's so much waiting for him, and there's so many possibilities. It was almost like Will Smith passing the baton. It was such a completely beautiful moment, like a breaking of the fourth wall, but not. It was just a really good finale. Like, I will really genuinely miss these characters, which also means that I probably won't watch the show for another year, and then I'll sit around and like start playing it before I go to bed. My only singular complaint for the entire series is that it's the final season, and Coco Jones, I said this on the last episode too, I think, she's got a lot going on. Like, the girl's got like Grammys, and she's singing, and I'm sure she's acting in other projects. She wasn't in several episodes this season, and she's one of my favorite characters. And so I just wanted to see her more often. The young actress who plays Ashley Banks, she missed the whole episode as well. There was a scene that just like kind of didn't make sense. Like, they're announcing like the gender reveal of the baby, and like 2 members of the family aren't there. And I'm just like, huh? But otherwise, no complaints. Oh, also, so previous episode, I talked about them frying the turkey. I don't know what I was watching. I was convinced that they fried that turkey in the house. And I went back and watched the episodes straight through leading up into the final 3. And they sure as hell were outdoors frying that turkey. And I did a whole rant about, like, why were they in the house? Well, how could they fry the turkey in the house? They're trying to burn the mansion down. And in fact, they were outside. My bad. My bad. Oops. My bad. I'm really sad to see the show go. It was really, really, really good. Aunt Viv also popped up. Was it the final episode or the second to last episode? I watched them all back to back to back to back. I don't remember what point that she pops up, but I was glad to see original Aunt Viv, because there's, like 3 of them now, but OG Aunt Viv, like brown Aunt Viv, Janet Hubert, original Aunt Viv. Y'all, I am so sick of these scammers on my phone. I get texts nonstop saying I need to log on to some weird website to verify some really expensive charge. I'm so over it. Scammers know the holidays are busy for everyone, which can make us all targets for scams. That's why Cash App builds in protection to help keep your money safe while you're checking off your shopping list. If you're about to send money to someone for a deal that's too good to be true and Cash App flags it as a potential scam, they'll warn you before you send the money. Cash App also gives you an extra layer of protection with features like security lock. You can require a PIN, Face ID, or fingerprint to unlock your account and move money. So if someone gets a hold of your unlocked phone at, say, like a holiday party, your money is right where you left it. Give yourself some peace of mind this holiday season and download Cash App. I love how Cash App is going above and beyond to make sure my money is safe. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App. Use our exclusive referral code SECURE10 in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partner. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Incorporated brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. What do you want? Not family, not friends, not society at large, you. What do you want and how do you want it? Without the noise of external opinions, you may have the space to find out. On the dating app field, curiosity leads the way towards intimacy with others and yourself. Desires, interests, the space to change again and again. There's room for all of it here. If you have a fantasy, say it. If you have a desire, include it in your bio. You just may get what you want. If life on field interests you, here's a closer look at exactly what happens there. Now, I love field because it doesn't gatekeep connection. In an age where dating apps create hurdles to finding your people, field is built differently. They don't guide your desire. You will be neither punished or rewarded for exploring your desires, unless that's your thing. In a place where there's no pressure to be anything, who will you be? My favorite part, there's no fast swipe culture. Sometimes attraction takes time. Here, you don't have to make a split decision in order to see another person. Skip profiles, go back, and take the time you need to decide if you really like someone. Are you ready to give Field a try? That's FEELD. Download Field on the App Store or Google Play. What do you want? Not family, not friends, not society at large, you. What do you want and how do you want it? Without the noise of external opinions, you may have the space to find out. On the dating app field, curiosity leads the way towards intimacy with others and yourself. Desires, interests, the space to change again and again. There's room for all of it here. If you have a fantasy, say it. If you have a desire, include it in your bio. You just may get what you want. If life on field interests you, here's a closer look at exactly what happens there. Now, I love field because it doesn't gatekeep connection. In an age where dating apps create hurdles to finding your people, field is built differently. They don't guide your desire. You will be neither punished or rewarded for exploring your desires, unless that's your thing. In a place where there's no pressure to be anything, who will you be? My favorite part, there's no fast swipe culture. Sometimes attraction takes time. Here, you don't have to make a split decision in order to see another person. Skip profiles, go back, and take the time you need to decide if you really like someone. Are you ready to give Field a try? That's FEELD. Download Field on the App Store or Google Play. All right, last but not least, I'm so sick of talking about this man. I swear I am. I swear I am. Sean Combs, Diddy, Puffy, Love, Puff Daddy, whatever he wants to be called. I'm so sick of this man. So last week, when I recapped the documentary, I watched all 4 parts back to back to back to back, and I recorded the episode in the middle of the night. I took notes, but I had very surface thoughts on the documentary. Now that my trip has ended and I had the time to go back and rewatch, the trip ended on Friday. I basically stayed in the bed Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday, Monday, to recover. I only left the house for like grocery runs and to get my nails done and to go for my evening walk. We talked about a lot of stuff in the documentary, and there's just a couple things that I need to touch on. One of them is the woman in the first part of the documentary. Her name is Joy. On the previous episode, I wasn't clear on whether she had had sex consensually or not with Diddy. Like, she doesn't actually state it. She was at a party in Jersey and he needed her for a video shoot. And then later someone comes and tells her, there's a tape of you and him having sex, and he's showing it to people. And I wasn't clear on like how the sex actually took place. So she doesn't actually say, I was assaulted, we hooked up, or whatever. It's on screen at some point that she filed a lawsuit against him, and she says that she was drugged, coerced, and then assaulted. I missed it. I missed it somehow. Maybe I looked away from the screen or I don't know. But it's very clearly shown on screen that the sex was non-consensual. And so the last episode, I couldn't remember whether it was or it was not. It was not. there's no details on when it could have happened. Like, she said that she was at the party, she seemed coherent enough, and she was like, I needed a ride back. And she, like, it seems like she left the party and went straight to this video shoot. So I don't know when this encounter would have happened, but it's very clear on the rewatch that it wasn't consensual. So I just wanted to make that correction. One of the other things that I didn't talk about from episode 1 is Diddy and Andre Harrell. He was his boss at Uptown when Diddy was an intern. It seemed to me that they were lovers. Diddy says that he's Andre's protege, he's the intern, but there are pictures of them in the documentary, especially in this portion. Diddy is very young. This is right after he's dropped out of Howard, 19, 20, 21, maybe. He's very, very young, but the body language between him and Andre Harrell, like, they're always like head to head, like right in each other's like personal space, draped over each other. Like, I was like, oh, they're lovers. Because those are the type of pictures I take like when I'm with a man. That's the energy that they give off together. And I was like, yeah, no, just because it's two men doing it don't make it any different than when like it's a hetero situation. Like, I know what I see. That's never been confirmed, obviously, but the pictures look to me very much like that was more than just like a professional mentee mentor relationship. Also, Andre says at some point he was like, yeah, I bought a house. And then, like, Diddy tells me that like he got into it with his mom and he needs a place to stay. And he's like, he ends up living in the house even before I move into the house. Huh? I have several mentees. I mean, folks that I love down. Gia Peppers. I fight bears for Gia Peppers. Gia not moving into Penny before I move into Penny. I'd find her a place to stay. I'd put her up somewhere, but she ain't moving into my house. That don't sound weird to y'all? It does sound weird, doesn't it? I don't think I spoke at any kind of length about the City College incident where 9 people died. I do remember at one point going through Diddy's hit list and I was like, there was this, and then there was this, and there was this. But I didn't dwell on it or spend any time on it because I thought the City College incident was pretty well known. I take for granted, one, my age, but also I didn't know about the City College incident when it happened. It was in the early 90s. I was still in high school in Maryland. But I moved to New York in 2000. One, my first internship was at Vibe. I've interned there all through grad school, also at Russell Simmons One World, also was writing for The Source, also was writing for Double XL. So I'm like in circles that talk about Diddy and like random obscure hip hop shit all the time. Additionally, I have friends my age or slightly older or who had older siblings or cousins who went to the City College event. One of my really, really, really good friends, she was like, I begged my mother to go to that event. Everyone was talking about it. I so wanted to go. And my mother was like, there's no way in hell. And then the next day, it's all over the news. 9 people died. I think it was 30 some odd people who were injured at the City College event. That event is so well known in New York and it's so well known in music industry circles. I didn't realize that it wasn't well known everywhere. I didn't realize that that's part of like a bubble thing until I saw all these people on social media and were like, oh my God, like 9 people died. Oh my God. Oh my God. I feel like that had been mentioned in other documentaries about Diddy, but also like I cover this stuff for a living. So if you're not like obsessively watching every Diddy documentary, you may not have known. Fair. A whole lot of people didn't know and was like, oh my God, he's a monster. And I was like, I mean, yes, in addition to everything else, yeah, that checks out. The other thing that I didn't realize, because I don't even think I mentioned it on the podcast, like at all, was Diddy being involved in Tupac's murder. I thought that was just a given at this point. I was aware of Keefe D and also the detective in the documentary. That wasn't his first time talking. That detective has told that story several times of tracing Diddy back to Tupac. There's a YouTube video where the detective is sitting down with CBS and it's from 9 years ago. I didn't know the full connection with like Diddy's alleged, according to the documentary, like his gang ties, and then like the cousin was placed there the night Tupac was shot. I didn't know that. But like Diddy being affiliated with it, I genuinely thought it was common knowledge. That's why I didn't mention it last episode. I didn't know, I didn't mention this part either. Was it Kirk? No, there was somebody else. It wasn't Kirk. Wait, was it Mark Curry who told the story where he was like, "Oh, I was a bouncer at this club and Diddy used to throw a party there every Friday night"? Maybe it was Kirk. Maybe those two stories are pushed together. What I'm trying to say is Diddy wanted Suge Knight's side piece. He had a side chick in Atlanta, and Diddy had asked Kirk for $50,000 because he wanted to buy a diamond necklace to impress the side chick. Apparently, Suge heard about it and felt away. Suge shows up at the club where Diddy throws a party all the time and is asked to leave because they don't want no problems. Somehow, Suge and one of his friends, I think it's Jake, and Diddy and some other people all end up outside. Somebody comes up with a gun. This is Mark Curry's story because I can picture him doing it. I can picture him making a motion of the gun. Somebody comes outside and shoots Jake 5 times. And when the gun is going off, Suge picks up Diddy and uses him as a shield. Kind of like Keisha in New Jack City with the little girl on the steps at the wedding, that type of shit. And Mark Curry says that's what started the East Coast, West Coast beef, which I was like, really, it started over a woman? I mean, really, it started because Diddy trying to woo Suge's chick. But if you picked me up and used me as a human shield, I would have legitimate beef with you. Even if like your ignorant shit started it. Like you escalated it way further than it needed to go. Like fight a fair one. Fine. Use me as a shield? While we're speaking about Suge Knight, I have a Suge Knight story. Did I tell it on the last episode about how I called him Sugar Bear? I wrote about it in a Bell in Brooklyn. I don't feel like retelling that story right now. My mother gets very upset. She was like, Demetria, like, I don't think you understand. I pray for you. And you out here gallivanting with like known gangsters. And I was like, he was so sweet when he walked up to the car. Like he was like, hello, ladies. And I was like, hello, Sugar Bear. He blushed. That big ass man blushed. It was wonderful. That's not the point. None of this is the point. So people have been watching this documentary, and I was like, you must be young. People have been watching this documentary, and they're just like, see, everybody thought Suge Knight was the gangster, but Diddy was the real gangster. Diddy is everything that people said Suge Knight was. No, 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 no. Suge Knight was a motherfucking gangster. Off the top of my head, I can't run you down like Suge Knight's greatest hits, but like running up on people with like baseball bats, threatening to kill them if they don't sign contracts or agree to certain terms, that's Eazy-E Suge Knight story. Like Suge Knight was also known for that shit. Suge Knight, as of today, like on today, December 9th, when I'm recording this, Suge Knight is sitting in prison. Like he has a podcast. His podcast is from prison. He is in prison because he ran somebody over. It's on video. He ran them over. And in case you were just like, oh my God, that could be an accident. No, 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 no. He ran them over and then he backed up and ran them over again. Like Suge Knight is a motherfucking gangster. Suge Knight is violent as fuck. He just happens to be actually kind of attractive and also have moments of like, cuteness and sweetness and very gentlemanly behavior. I don't feel like telling it this episode, but long story short, we didn't think Suge Knight was going to pay for our dinner. And so we left the restaurant. And then Suge sent somebody out after us to give us money because he was like, Suge Knight is a gentleman. He doesn't invite women to dinner and not pay for them. It was a diner on Sunset. Maybe it was $25, no more than 30 for 3 people to eat. And he gave us like $200 in cash. All of this is in a Bell in Brooklyn. When I said it was like hilarious misadventures, like I really meant hilarious misadventures. Like I got into some shit. Was there anything else I needed to clarify? Suge, East Coast, West Coast beef. We talked about how it started. Didn't know Diddy didn't pay them people for the alleged killing of Tupac. He said he would pay $1 million for Suge and Tupac, who were in the car together when Tupac is murdered. But obviously, only Tupac dies. So he agrees to pay the $500,000. But apparently, he gives it to the Connect, who was supposed to give it to the shooters, and the Connect kept the money, and so the shooters never got it. That's some real nigga shit. Oh, this is important. It happened twice, actually. In the documentary, they talk about Diddy's dad. And the story is his dad was a gangster who was affiliated with Frank Lucas. And the documentary and Diddy's interviews make it sound like his dad was like this really big time drug dealer. Like maybe if he's not Avon, then he's Stringer Bell. Somebody who's like high ranking, at least in the organization. So this is the story they're circulating. And one of the prominent entertainment journalists of that era, Aaliyah King, is like, I don't remember it that way. And she was like, and I would know because one, I wrote a biography of Frank Lucas, and I remember asking him, like, hey, was Melvin Combs like your number two? Was he like, really high in your organization? And she said, Frank Lucas laughed and was like, no, like Melvin? I would never sell to Melvin. Aaliyah had also written a story, an investigative piece for Vibe back in 2010 about Melvin Combs. So Aaliyah starts writing about this on Facebook, and the reason that she's writing about it, but not just posting the link, is she was like, it's gone. She was like, there's other stuff from 2010, like that's all over the internet, that's widely discussed. Like you can still find it on the Vibe page, but for whatever reason, you can't find this article about Diddy's dad. It's like it's been scrubbed from the internet. And she was like, I interviewed 30 people for this story. Several things were agreed upon. One, that Melvin was not like this big time drug dealer that Diddy portrays him to be. She says, in fact, he was a hairdresser. I'm sorry, excuse me? He was a well-known man in Harlem. He was kind of like, I think Aaliyah described him as kind of like a Harlem dandy, but she was like, everyone knew who he was. He had a really great disposition. Like everyone liked him. He was a good time. He was well-dressed. He drove great cars. Like people knew who he was. And like, yeah, like he sold drugs like here and there, but mostly on some like, I want to make some money because like I want to buy clothes and cars. Like he was in the life, but it sounded like he was more like maybe not quite a Bodie. I mean, Bodie eventually does become a D'Angelo, but like D'Angelo season one. So I asked Vibe, because I was really curious about this article. I asked them on Threads. I was like, if it's not too much trouble, do you think maybe you could assist and find that article for us and then repost it? And they did. They did. Shout out to Vibe's executive editor, Christine. I'm going to say Amarinezor. Girl, I can't pronounce nothing, and I'm trying real hard. I'm trying to say thank you because I appreciate you uploading this article, and I know you had better ish to do this weekend. Okay, so let's pull up this article real quick. It's from 2010, June, July issue. There's Nicki Minaj on the cover, and the article is called The Mystery of Puff's Daddy. Vibe investigates the murder of Melvin Combs. So she interviewed folks that knew him, that knew he was shot, knew the details of the shooting, knew who shot him, in fact. It said it was January 26, 1972. Melvin Combs was 33 years old. He's a former United States Air Force airman. He was buried at the National Cemetery in Farmingdale. It says when Diddy was old enough to ask what happened to his father, he was actually told his dad was killed in a car accident. In fact, Melvin had been shot at point blank range twice in the head. It says shortly before he was murdered, he was listed as a co-conspirator, a case that would have sent some members of his crew to prison for up to 12 years. He had been arrested on drug charges just 2 weeks before his death. Allegedly, he was killed because folks thought he was a rat. Notably, Frank Lucas is not one of those people. He said that wasn't Melvin's disposition. Friend of Melvin's, he said he lived on the same floor with him. He'd known him since 1951. And he described Melvin as, quote, having a taste for the high life. He dressed pretty sharp when he had the money. He was always dressed better than the rest of us. He was just smooth like that. Always had that extra flair. It says by the late 1960s, Melvin began to slip into the street life. He stopped hanging with his childhood friends. This is such a great detail. Quote, he traded in his childhood friends like Elbert and Wallace and began running with people who had names like Goldfinger and Flat Top. One of his friends, he said he met Melvin in 68 or 69. He says Melvin was working in a hair salon. And this guy says, I liked Melvin right away. He says, quote, he wasn't a hard nigga. He was flamboyant and suave. I used to say he was part hippie and part hustler, real outgoing. And man, he really knew how to communicate with the ladies. You go out with Melvin and you're going to have your pick of the girls. He said Melvin began hanging out with his friends who sold drugs. He saw how they were living, that they had 6 and 7 cars apiece. They were going on trips to the Bahamas. This gentleman describes, he said he had a limousine with a Coke bowl and a safe installed. And he had a driver with a uniform at all times. He says, quote, we were living it up. And says Melvin liked our lifestyle. It wasn't long before he started selling drugs. They said Melvin started really getting money around 1970. That's when he bought a Cadillac. He also had a 68 Thunderbird, blue with a white top. Only 2 of them in all of Harlem. These details. They said Melvin went from being a low-level coke dealer to running with a completely different crew. Now, his original friend who's telling all these stories, he said he gave Melvin coke 3 or 4 times. He said, but then Melvin went and hooked up with another crew, and that guy was the mastermind of a heroin ring that reportedly brought in $5 million a year in the 1960s. They were distributing 200 kilos throughout New York and New Jersey. And according to news reports, that connect had an Italian connection. King notes here, although reports from the time are not specific about Melvin's rank in the organization, he was clearly more than just a rank-and-file street dealer. Even if he wasn't the ruler, his son would later believe he was. Around this time is when Melvin meets Frank Lucas, who can't remember when he first met Melvin, but then he goes on to say very glowing things about him. And notes here, Janice Combs had nothing to do with her husband's business. She's described as, quote, a polished young woman who sponsored fashion shows in Harlem. One of her shows, Elegance in Autumn, offered a French poodle as a door prize. And the name Mrs. Melvin Combs appeared in several society pages in the Amsterdam News throughout the 1960s. But, like most hustlers, Melvin also had a ride-or-die chick on the side, a 22-year-old, Cassandra, as in Cassie. She was listed on court documents as Melvin's girlfriend, who was allegedly involved in the operations, those would be drug operations, though charges against her were later dropped. Little light-skinned girl, his friend describes. I remember her, cute girl, but Melvin had a lot of girls. We all did. Back when all you needed was penicillin to clear something up. Oh, dear. Says Melvin was officially living the fast life. He was outfitted in furs and suits on a daily basis, drove his Cadillac around town, and dipped in and out of the local Harlem spots with his wife or girlfriend, depending on the time of day. And the friend explains, you brought the wife and kids out during the day, and then you bring your girl out at night. Let's see, 1971, wiretaps are installed in the crew's homes. They all get arrested. A month later, Melvin gets arrested in an apartment he kept in Yonkers. Police found him with a large quantity of narcotics, a revolver, and a large amount of cash. And he was killed 2 weeks later. And King points out, she says, this is where the difficult question needs to be asked. And Melvin's childhood friends and business associates look away, scratch their heads, and shrug their shoulders when asked the obvious question. Did Melvin snitch on his crew after he got arrested? Frank Lucas says that's bullshit. That's what I was saying earlier. Frank Lucas, no relation. Quote, Melvin wasn't that kind of guy. No way. He wasn't saying shit. And Lucas says he was locked up by the time Melvin was killed. He says they did the wrong thing when they killed him. And if I had been around, a whole lot of people would have got hurt over that one. The reporter asks, who killed Melvin? And Frank Lucas says, quote, I ain't giving no names, but whoever it was, I heard he got it back. Another friend of Melvin's, he says he does know who killed Melvin. He says the guy was a friend of his, and he said the guy was also a friend of Melvin's. He says the man's name was Walter Grant. And he says Walter told him very flatly, he, quote, parked his car on 106th and Central Park West, then took a cab to the Gold Lounge further downtown. He called Melvin and told him to come pick him up. Melvin had no idea what was about to happen. Melvin picked him up. Grant told him to drive him to his car. told him to pull up and park right behind his car. He told me he took out his piece and said, Melvin, you got this coming to you. And that was it. Shot him dead. Got out the car, got into his own car, and peeled out. The friend says that the guy was convinced that Melvin had either ratted out his crew after his arrest or that he planned to. Vibe notes that they reached out to both Diddy and his mother for the piece. They declined to comment. So that's the actual story of Diddy's daddy, in case you were wondering. The other thing that came up in this documentary, Teray, who was a really well-known entertainment journalist. Do you remember the R. Kelly interview where a guy asked R. Kelly, he says, do you have any teenage friends? And instead of being like, I'm a grown-ass fucking man, why would I be friends with teenage girls? He said, like, how old we talking? But that was Teray. Teray did, I won't say almost all, but he did a lot of the really big celebrity interviews. And one of those celebrity interviews is with Biggie. And part of the interview, Teray is not featured, is in the documentary. And Biggie is saying that he is paranoid. He says he feels like people are trying to kill him. He knows that people are after him. So in the documentary, the clip of Biggie saying that is placed at the portion where they're talking about him being in LA after Tupac is murdered, right before his album comes out. They put this clip in there where it seems like Big is talking about he's paranoid and he's scared of what's happening in LA. And Teray has clarified that, like, hey, so like that clip, I'm the person interviewing him. Like, he's talking to me in the clip, and it had nothing to do with LA. In fact, it's years before any of the Tupac drama. He's saying he doesn't feel safe in the streets, like in Brooklyn, not in LA. I say that to say that I think overall it's a really well done documentary. I think there are people that tell stories that are very compelling. I'm just mindful that there's not a lot of clarification and context from the actual journalists who were covering all this stuff at the time. And Aaliyah to talk about Diddy's dad would have been great for the documentary. Teray to talk about, like, you know, Biggie's mind state based on this interview or just other details. I mean, Teray wrote pretty extensively. You know, there's the stuff that they put in their pieces, and then there's all the stuff that got left on the editing room floor, or they're just some things you're just there and you see. It doesn't make it into the story. And then, like, years later, you realize, like, the relevance of it. Something I just only know because I'm also a journalist. It's like it would have been helpful for the documentary to have featured them as well. There's a lot that was left out. I mean, I guess like it's a 4-part series. Like you can't include every single thing, especially with someone who's been famous for as long as Diddy has, but also has like so many nut job stories that Diddy has. Like, I guess you can't go through like everybody's, which is fair. But I just thought like, you know, the placement of that interview and then like I don't know, the details about his dad, which I think they could have been mentioned in the documentary, but they weren't. So I mentioned them here. A couple other details from this Diddy documentary. One of them is from Faith. This is from her memoir. Who wrote Faith Evans' memoir? Was it Aaliyah? Yeah, it was. This is about Faith performing I'll Be Missing You, the memorial song to Biggie, Faith 112, Diddy, Sting, and a whole gospel choir performed it at the MTV Awards one year. In her memoir, Keep the Faith, 2008, Faith writes about that performance. Frankly, she didn't want to do it. Her manager told her that Puff was invited to perform the song along with her and 112 at the VMAs. And the manager told her that Puff wanted her to perform. And so Faith says, quote, I did the song, I did the video, but I'm not ready for that kind of performance. And then her manager said, you know, Puff's not trying to hear that. So Faith started avoiding Puff. Like she heard he was in the studio, she wouldn't go. If he got a message, she wouldn't call him back. And she hoped that he would just give up. She said that she was still trying to figure out what her next move would be in the music industry. And she was also trying to like deal with her own grief over Biggie's death. She says, I just needed time to work on my family and myself and adjust to what the next steps would be. So Faith says she was in the studio one afternoon and her manager got a phone call from Puff, who was looking for Faith, and she could hear him screaming through the phone. She says eventually her manager just passed her the phone and she took the phone and she said, "Puff, I'm not ready." And she said, he yelled, "You not ready? What the fuck are you talking about?" She responds, "I'm still trying to get my shit together." And he says, "Look, we here and we gotta live. We have this song right now and we need to perform it together. If you're not ready, get ready." She says, "It's not that simple." He says in a low voice, "Faith, listen to me. You want to give up on your career? Fine." She said his voice began to get louder and louder, "But you will not fuck up my shit. Do you hear me?" She says, "Fine, I'll do the show." She says she hung up and collapsed on the sofa in the studio lounge, sobbing hysterically. This nigga. It's the man's widow. Last but not least, I hope this is the last. This is the long episode. Janice Combs has addressed her characterization, I guess we could say, in the documentary. I'm reading this on Deadline. She wrote a full and long statement to them. She said she wants to correct some of the lies presented in Sean Combs' The Reckoning. She says these inaccuracies regarding my son Sean's upbringing and family life is intentionally done to mislead viewers and further harm our reputation. So she goes into what those inaccuracies are. She says, in the documentary, I am portrayed as an abusive parent. She says, this is untrue. As I have stated previously, I was a single mother raising my son. I held 3, even 4 jobs in an attempt to provide a comfortable upbringing and quality education for my child. This is in the documentary. She says, I raised Sean with love and hard work, not abuse. Ma'am, I'm not saying you abused your son. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that you sat on a television show, and a clip of which was provided in the documentary, and gleefully talked about how often you beat your son for misbehaving. You said that. I saw you say that. Like, the words came out of your mouth. Are you saying it's AI? Are you saying that you didn't say the things we saw you say? Because you did say. You didn't say I spanked him. You didn't say I got at him, which was, leaves room for interpretation. You very clearly said, I beat my son. You said it. Okay. She said, the statement made by Mr. Tim Patterson about Sean's life regarding my relationship with my son is not truthful and salacious to promote the series. I think that's the friend that talked about the beatings too. She says, to the contrary, I loved and nurtured Sean. My memories of Sean growing up are one of a respectful and diligent child and teenager. Sean has always been an industrious, goal-oriented overachiever. She says, moreover, the allegation stated by Mr. Kirk Burrows that my son slapped me while we were conversing after the tragic City College events on December 28th, 1991, are inaccurate and patently false. She's saying Diddy did not slap her. She says the event at City College was, quote, a very sad day for all of us. For him to use that tragedy and incorporate fake narratives to further his prior failed and current attempt to gain what was never his, Bad Boy Records, is wrong, outrageous, and past offensive. She continues, Sean has been a dutiful son, always ensuring that I was cared for and diligently managing my medical care, as well as providing financial support. I am requesting that these distortions, falsehoods, and misleading statements be publicly retracted. Good luck with that. Oh, I really want to say this too, though. So there's been like a kind of backlash against the documentary, and folks do this every single time, especially a Black man is called into account for like the horrible shit that he's done. 50 Cent is a petty person. He's been accused of domestic violence. He has a shit relationship with one of his sons. He treats his oldest son kind of like Brian McKnight does his kids. He's fucked up. So people are like, I don't understand why all of y'all are supporting this 50 Cent documentary when 50 Cent is fucked up too. He's trifling. He's making this Diddy documentary to deflect from his own bullshit. I just want to point out that like several things can be true at the same time. Diddy can be a fucking monster. Suge Knight can also be a fucking monster. And 50 Cent can also be a fucking monster. Because you watch the Diddy documentary doesn't mean that you're okay with any of the shit that 50 Cent does. You're just watching a documentary. Whether you watched it on Netflix or not, 50 Cent's check was already cut. Someday, because this episode is full of Wire references, someday 50 Cent is going to meet a Marlo. Somebody who will out-petty him, who will out-arm him, who will out-hustle him. And he will be on the receiving end of the bullshit that he has put other people through. It's just a matter of time. This is how these cycles work. 50 Cent will eventually get his comeuppance, for sure. In the meantime, even if 50 Cent's motives for calling out Diddy have something to do, he says it's because the man tried to take him shopping, which I think that's partially true. But I also think Diddy had a habit of going after the women of men he didn't like or that he really respected. He tried to date Suge's chick. He tried to date Albie Shore's chick because he was the biggest artist on Uptown. He goes after Kim. He thought Misa was dating Eric Sturman, which they actually did date, but by the time Diddy circled around, they weren't dating, whatever. EPMD was huge. He wanted Eric Sturman's chick. One of his children's mothers also used to date Tupac at some point, Sarah. Just based on his pattern, part of the reason that he wanted Sarah was because she had been with Tupac. I'm sure that part of the reasoning that he wanted, quote unquote, Jane, who testified throughout the trial, was because she's 50 Cent's baby mama. Allegedly. I'm sure 50 feels a way about that shit. Suge's retaliation was to roll up on a man at the club and then use him as a human shield. 50 waited till he was down and kicked him harder with this Netflix documentary. Some people be like, oh, the timing is so bad. It's so bad. No, the timing, if you're trying to fuck with somebody, it's actually, I mean, if you're a petty person, if you really want to cause the most damage, this was actually the most opportune time to do it. Some of y'all never read The Art of War. 50 Cent apparently has memorized it. It was like a Gen X staple. That, The Little Prince, and something else. There was some other book everybody who was trying to be fake deep used to read all the time. Not Machiavelli. People didn't do that until Tupac. There was another one, 48 Laws of Power. I mean, like the early Hotep crowd. All of that stuff like drifted over into like mainstream Black. All right, this episode is long as hell. I'm done. Or not. I mentioned that I just wrapped the See Some World Cape Town trip. We just added 10 spaces to the trip in March. If you're interested, DemetriaLLucas.com. Okay, bye. What do you want? Not family, not friends, not society at large, you. What do you want and how do you want it? Without the noise of external opinions, you may have the space to find out. On the dating app field, curiosity leads the way towards intimacy with others and yourself. If life on field interests you, here's a closer look at exactly what happens there. Now, I love field because it doesn't gatekeep connection. In an age where dating apps create hurdles to finding your people, field is built differently. My favorite part, there's no fast swipe culture. Sometimes attraction takes time. Here, you don't have to make a split decision in order to see another person. Skip profiles, go back, and take the time you need to decide if you really like someone. Are you ready to give Field a try? That's FEELD. Download Field on the App Store or Google Play.
All right, y'all, gather round because Monet Exchange from Sibling Rivalry is here with an announcement. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Google Gemini. Now listen, the girls over at Google said, Monet, tell the children, so I'm telling you. U.S. college students get Google Gemini's Pro Plan free for 1 year. Use the best model in the world for multimodal understanding, so whether you're uploading a video to get feedback on your presentation, uploading a photo of your homework to ask for help, or transcribing notes from a lecture you missed, Gemini 3 Pro can help. And baby, if I had this in college, she would have been unstoppable. Picture it. Monet Exchange in the library, uploading a picture of my music theory homework like, Gemini, please help a diva out. Or recording my rehearsal videos for feedback instead of crying in the practice room for 3 hours. This would have been life-changing. Now, back to the goods. Sign up to get more access to Google's most accurate model, Gemini 3 Pro. Unlimited image uploads, pro-level image editing, higher limits in Notebook LM, Gemini in Gmail and Docs, 2 terabytes of storage, and more. You heard me, 2 terabytes. That's enough space to store every vocal warm-up, drag race look, and every photo your aunt sends you of her plants. Visit gemini.google/students to learn more and sign up. Terms apply.